morning, friends. Welcome to Coffee Talk. Thank you for spending your Monday morning with us. I hope this starts off your week awesomely. Coffee Talk is brought to you by the International Dance Entrepreneurs Association, also known as IDEA. You can learn more at ideadance.org. Coffee Talk is for dance teachers and studio owners who are passionate about their careers, becoming better at what they do, and striving to be the best mentor, leader, and teacher that they can be. Today we have two guests, Dee Buchanan and Pam Simpson, and you'll learn a little bit more about them in a moment. IDEA and our organization is always focused on what's new and what are new approaches to business, classes, curriculum, and that is what today's Coffee Talk is all about. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Also, I want to let you know that the Dance Life Teacher Conference schedule is done. Got posted this weekend. The conference is July 25 to 27, and it will be in Connecticut. We'd love to have you there. You can learn more at dancelifeconference.com. And I'm going to run a little commercial for the conference so that you can see it from the inside. Also, in our comments, let us know where you're from. Also, throughout the program, let us know if you have any questions. We'll be back in a moment. And here we are. Hi, Dee. Hi, Pam. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
I guess I'll start with you, Dee. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You're a studio owner. Maryland, tell us a little bit more.
I've been a studio owner for 30 years. And so big celebration this year for that anniversary. We are involved with acrobatic arts and Alexa Flexibility and Jaquetti Council and Dance Masters of America. And of course, IDEA and Dance Life Teacher Conference and those sorts of things. So we like having a broad range of interests in all of these different wonderful programs that are out there. We have rhythm works dancers, we have a theater program. So we just really love diversity. So that's kind of, I guess, where I'm coming from.
I love that about you, Miss Dee. Pam, tell us a little bit about your school in Illinois.
Well, hello, I'm Pam Simpson. I own Forte Arts Center in Morris and Channahon, Illinois. We are in year 29, so we're 1 year behind Dee, but we're celebrating 29 years. We have both music, dance, and leadership classes that we have in our studio. And we're just really excited to have made it through what we're going through right now and just pushing to get to that celebration of year 30.
Awesome. So I feel like, and I know you're going to agree, but I feel like all the negativity that happened wasn't all negative. I don't know if that was a good way to say it, but that's the way it came out. That it caused us as studio owners, business owners, teachers to explore new opportunities. What could we do with what we have to keep ourselves going, even if that was something totally different from the average dance class or the virtual dance class? And that as we're coming out of this situation, that we can hold on tight to these fresh concepts and ideas that we might not have thought of had we not been forced to explore the possibilities. So I'd like to spend this show talking about cool, different, and unique ideas that we can bring back to our classroom or businesses. Are you in for that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Miss Pam, I'm going to let you start us off, my friend. Throw out a really great idea.
Okay, well, a really great idea that we have started to institute is doing some add-on classes for our groups. So say for the 3 to 5-year-olds come in for what we call tutus and bow ties class, which is a combination of creative movement, ballet, and tumbling. So what we did is did an add-on class of called Tiny Tappers. So this is just a 15-minute add-on that, I mean, we have 15 minutes in the schedule that starts early. And so the Tiny Tappers come in and they get to put their tap shoes on and get a little experience of tap, which gets them excited about tap. And that goes right into their tutus and bow ties class. And then similarly, we did that with the 5 to 6-year-olds, which take a happy feet class in our studio, which is ballet tap combo. And we did a tumbling add-on for them for 15 minutes. So they get that little experience of doing tumbling. And then it goes right into their class. So it just helps actually introduce a new style to them, gives us a little bit more frequency with those kids so they can see that it is an opportunity in the future to take 2 classes. And it just filled up our schedule a little bit more. So that was a really good idea. And we've filled up all the classes that we started.
So how much would you increase tuition by for that 15 minutes? I'm curious.
We did $25.
Okay.
We did $25 for the 15 minutes. And like I said, all the classes have at least 10 kids in them. So it was a good idea. People were excited about the short commitment, no recital dance, for both of those add-ons. So
I love it. I love it.
And everybody has 15 minutes in their schedule that they could like play with, even starting something 15 minutes earlier, just to give it a try. No.
And also get them interested in another subject. So come September, that's what they want to do.
Right. And a lot of times the 3 and 4-year-olds, their next step is going into the tap class. So then they've got that little taste of what that looks like and get excited to move into the next class.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Those that are watching today, feel free to let us know if you have any questions. D. Ooh, look at me.
You're having a disco party.
Yes, and I don't know why. It's something in my camera. How cool is that? That's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Miss D, share something with us, my friend.
All right. One of my favorite things that we have started doing is called rotation class. And we have one called intermediate rotation, intermediate advanced rotation for different age groups. They could be named whatever. But this is a problem solver for me in a lot of ways. One of them is that I want to be with the kids, but I also cannot put myself into the classroom so many hours a week. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of us as studio owners. And another piece of that is the way that this rotation class works. I only have to do 2 class plans every 8 weeks for that particular class. So that works out really nicely as well as far as the back end development. So rotation class is something where you have to open up, say, 3 studios for all of your older kids. So say it's the high school rotation class or our advanced rotation class. You can put 15 or 18 kids, whatever you want, in the class, each classroom. Then Teacher number one is in studio A for 2 weeks, then B, then C, then maybe rotates out for 2 weeks and then comes back in, that sort of thing. Those 2 weeks, maybe that's me, the studio owner. And so I'm seeing these kids for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to see these kids, and then these kids. And I'm doing classic jazz because I love doing some classic jazz. And so they have that. Rotating around through that then is maybe I always try to make sure there's a favorite choreographer sort of person, because that draws them then to be like, oh, I'll get to have Miss So-and-so to do, some contempt, or maybe she'll do Limon. And so then that person has them for 2 weeks. And then we have, we really try to have our kids in a strong flexibility regimen where they do homework and flexibility and not just in their classes. So we do Alexa flexibility for 2 weeks. And so the kids kind of have a check-in on that, and they maybe, change up their homework plan and look at how their progressions are going. And so, meanwhile, I've only done 2 class plans. I've only spent 1 hour a week, and I've gotten to see all, X number of these older kids. And so it works out nicely in all of those aspects.
So really, this is older dancers most of the time, I'm assuming, yes?
Yeah, we don't do this with tinies.
Okay. And does it run all season?
It does. It runs all season. It's an optional class. I mean, any class, I guess, is optional depending on your program. But I do have required classes for our kids who want to participate in either extra performances or competitive experiences. And this is not a requirement for that. But it still gets really high enrollment. And we charge just like any other class. So the fee is just that of any other class. And it's not expensive to run.
Okay, so do you find that your advanced or intensive dancers add this on to the program they're already registered for?
It's actually everybody. It's a really nice mix. Our intensive dancers, or those kind of on that, I dance 12 hours a week, 15 hours a week, they'll take the class. But then a lot of dancers who are maybe just trying musical theater and something, this is almost a way for them to start to experience some of the other things as well. And it's not a recital piece, no costume fee. They don't have to worry that they're not going to keep up with someone. It's a little bit looser.
I like it. Rotation classes, a whole variety of options. And it doesn't have to be necessarily in those 3 rooms. It could be a class of 20 kids that's consistently on this rotation basis.
Right. And then the teacher gets to rotate out and get some other work done, which is just great. If you have people who are doing more than one thing, you've got them in charge of a program, plus they have to teach a gazillion hours, right? And they know I'm only doing these 2 weeks, and then I've got 4 weeks to work on this project.
And if you're also a owner who stepped back a little bit in your teaching, this is a chance to put yourself in front of the kids and keep up that communication and that bond without having to make a commitment to being there every week.
Yes.
You get a point. Pam Simpson, share something with us.
I like it. I like that idea of the rotating the classes, also to give those teachers that maybe are doing a lot of things, like you said, to have a chance to work with certain dancers that they wouldn't normally get to work with, but then also step back and do whatever else they need to do. So I like that idea. So that's a good idea, Dee. Another thing I wanted to share with you that we have been doing is what we call a solo lab. Now we have, like I said earlier, we do music and dance. And so I'm going to tell you both ways we've used this lab. But first, for competition solos, we did a solo lab before the first competition of the season, and we're going to do it again here shortly before the next one, where the students get to just register for the class and come in for a solo lab. We had 2 of our competitive teachers in the building, and we split the kids into 2 rooms, and they got to run their solo, and then the teachers took notes on the solos and then sent the kids into another room to practice while they watched the next group the next solo do their work. And then they rotated in and out of the rooms to get feedback from a teacher that isn't necessarily their solo teacher, to get them ready for competition, to build their confidence. And also we saw it build a community of the solo dancers. to be together and support each other when they weren't either doing their solo or practicing any of the notes that they got. And then we rotated the teacher or the kids. So the teacher got to see all of the kids that did that. So we're doing that again this coming week, but we also did it with our music program. So any of you that do music, it's another great way for your music students to be able to build a community. Because a lot of times if you have music, it is one-on-one private lessons. So there's not much of a community. They come in, they do their lesson and they leave. So they don't really build community like dance does. So what we've been doing is called Music Performance Lab, where the students come in with the teacher and they get to do a little piece that they've been practicing in community with the kids. So we use our big dance room and we have the musicians come in and they get to perform their piece. And then the teachers also do some little live question and answer that they can get a little reward for if they know the answers of music theory while they're there. So it kind of builds the community of they want to answer the questions because they know the music theory. So two different ways to kind of use a lab in classrooms that also gets the kids building community and also bringing in extra income for you and opportunity for your teachers. So that's been really great.
How long would you say a dancer is there for the entire their lab experience?
The lab was 2 hours long. So we had this last week when we did it, we had 25 dancers that came and they each were able to do their solos 4 times. So it was well worth we charged $30 and it was well worth their $30 because they got to have the teacher's input and then a little practice time and then the teacher's input and then another teacher's input. So they got their money's worth and also, like I said, built the community, but 2 hours.
Okay. What's the charge? You may have said it. I may
$30.
$30.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Can you say again how you broke down the rooms?
Yeah. So we used 4 dance rooms for this. So if you have less than 4 dance rooms, you could do it differently. But what we did is we split the kids in half and one teacher took half and the other teacher took half. And then they would do their solo and say, I would do this, watch, take notes, give the student the notes, like written out notes to go in the other room to practice the notes. And then as soon as the next dancer was done with notes, they would rotate back in. So like the second dancer would get notes, go relieve the first dancer, and then they'd come back in. Then an hour into the program, we switched teachers. So the teachers, both teachers got to work with the kids.
Thank you.
And it worked really great. And it also like built their confidence to help them get on stage, a lot of them for the first time, or the ones that are a little more competitive that want that extra edge. So you kind of do both things, right? Because the kids that are nervous for the first time get that experience in front of another teacher and peers. And then you've got the more competitive kids that then got that extra edge from 2 different teachers' opinions before they went on stage. So it kind of served both sides.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was a kid, we cleaned for hours, and now there isn't enough time to clean. And this is a great way to get it done and get different eyes and different opinions and allowing kids to go in the room and work for themselves for a little while as well, or with each other. Very cool.
Yeah.
Miss D, what's next up for you, my friend?
This one is a summer camp idea. Most of our summer camps follow a traditional, daily class with a little choreography and a craft and some games and a lot of prep time for the dancers. And that, I guess, is primarily for the younger dancers. But we like getting the older kids in for more than just the intensives or whatever that we do. They're very serious. And we like them to have some fun summer options as well. And this one is a very low preparation level, very little manpower required on the part of the staff, but it's a great bonding experience. So it builds a lot of camaraderie among the dancers. We call it Dancers Performance Projects, and it's Dancers Performance Projects Camp. And it's based on them learning to do some of the things they would maybe get to do in a college program. So it involves them doing choreography. It involves them learning how to do dance for camera and that sort of thing. And they work out camera angle things and how to handle all of that sort of stuff as well. So we bring in the kids, sign up, say 20 kids sign up for the camp. They spend the first day working on their solo that they're going to perform. And their solos are usually about a minute. And so they work on those, they pick the music, they learn how to make music cuts, they learn how to label music cuts. For those of us who are still doing, I have nothing, final, shorter, final, that's like not the label we should be using on that. So they learn how to actually really handle their cuts in a way that they can catalog their music nicely, and they start choreographing for themselves. And then they come in with proposals. I think everybody is invited to, but the older kids are for sure, for a group dance that they would like to set and how many dancers they would use, and they propose their music. And so then the person running the camp sets up the schedule for the rest of the week based on them working on dances in small groups together. And they work out costumes, which are like, we're going to wear our black shorts with a red shirt of some kind, or we're going to wear all pastel leotards, etc. And then we have one day that's a field trip. That's usually, I want to say Wednesday. Instead of working on choreography, we go to an on-site place and they do their dance for camera piece there. So they use their phones and things, and different people take over as photographer, and people are in charge of setting bits of the choreo. And then one of our staff members actually pieces it together for them, because in a week we can only get so far, right? So she'll then piece it all together. And then on Friday, they have this performance. And now that our studios all have TVs and Zooms and all the things, parents don't even have to be able to make it off work. They can maybe Zoom to watch the performance. And the entire show is student-based work. And like their kids now, our camps went out on March 1st, and I've heard kids in class saying, I know what song I'm going to ask to do for my group piece for DPP this year. And I'm like, well, great. Glad you thought of that, because it's in late July, So they get excited to make it theirs. And the manpower, and we charge the same as any other camp, but the manpower piece of it is just.
Okay, for the heck of it, how much do you charge for any other camp?
For my camps? Now, I'm looking. Our summer tuition, half-day camps, our regular rate, if you sign up on time, not early, is $215. But it's $185 before May 1st, or $205 before June 1st. So we have like an early bird, and then we have a shoot. I meant to be the early bird, but I didn't quite do it. And then there are the people who are like, what the heck? I only ever sign up 2 days before anyway, right?
Absolutely. So when you do this, how many staff people do you feel a person needs?
Just one.
Okay, so if I had 2, I'd be really okay.
You'd be great.
Okay, I see this as a good concept, as a profit-generating one.
And it's kids from different classes. Like, they don't dance together all year. So they just build these relationships throughout this camp, working together on these projects. So
love it. Miss Pam, where are you at?
Well, that sounds like a fun camp. I like it. I'd like to actually come and take that camp.
Yeah, me too.
It sounds like a fun time. All right. So the next thing I want to share, I'm going to go on the admin side for a minute for studio owners or any managers that might be on the page, because I think this is a really good time saver, and it makes things really easy for the staff, but also for your clients. So many of us use Google Forms for ordering items like merchandise for your recital, possibly your recital ad sponsors, or last year, I know we did it for our individual recital portraits also, because we moved from group portraits to individuals last year. So what we learned about Google Forms is there's something called a payable form that you can add to your Google form. And this saves tons of admin time. So if you're doing merchandise and you're going to put in there that you're going to order hoodies or stuffed bears or digital downloads or whatever you're adding into your Google form, the payable form actually has all your clients pay right as they're ordering. So it puts in, hi, Terry. I see Terry joining us, gives a little comment. Hi, Terry. The payable form actually brings in the the people have to actually check out and use their credit card to pay as they're ordering. Now you can see if they don't check out and check back up with them and say, hey, I saw you trying to order a hoodie and you hadn't checked out yet. Were you planning on finishing up the order? But one of the great things is that once they've all ordered, it gets paid right through your PayPal, and you don't have to then put all of that into your system. So like we use Jackrabbit. So if I ordered, like we just recently sold hoodies like crazy. So we sold 100 hoodies. And then my staff would have to go total the hoodies and then go into Jackrabbit one person at a time and add in the hoodie and charge their account. And then hopefully their account goes through. And if not, then they're chasing the money, but we've already ordered the hoodies. So this way it pays it off right away. And then you know who's paid and you know how many to order, and you don't have to go in and put it into their account. So it saves a ton of time. And we've used it for a lot of different things. I think we've used it more than a dozen times since we found it last year. But I wanted to share it because it's really easy to do. And there's a really small PayPal fee. It's nothing compared to what you'd pay your admin staff to do it hourly. So it's called a Payable Form, and it's on Google Forms.
Payable Form on Google Forms. And it's not really going through your credit card. It's going through PayPal.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm. And it's just been great. Now, another add-on to this is we've been using the QR code for the people to get to the form to make it a little bit easier also. So they can get to it through the link, or we create a QR code for every form we do. And so we'll share the image, scan here to go to the form, because most everybody has their phone on them all the time anyway. So then they can scan the code and then do the form right through that way. And it just makes it really easy. So
Pam, I think you just like changed our lives.
Well, hopefully that's a good one. I mean, we've really enjoyed it, and it's saved a ton of time, and it's easier for the parents too, because then they can order when they can pay, right? So then they're not worried about when you're going to charge them. If they're not ready to do it on Monday, they can wait till Friday when they get paid and then order on the form.
And you're also not bringing it into your own system. I mean, you can just keep it all together in one place. Yes. No excuse if a parent doesn't find the information. It's right. I think it's awesome.
It's been really great. So hopefully everybody can use that and enjoy it. But
so Google Forms, say it one more time.
It's called Payable Forms, and it's
Payable Forms on Google Forms.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Really good one.
Yes.
D, you're up at bat, my friend.
So this is one I have talked about before on something. So I apologize if this is a repeat for some of you, but if you have not explored theater for your kids or singing for your kids, I would really encourage you to consider, if you have the time, try a camp over the summer that is a triple threat opportunity for them. And it's had great results for us. It grew very, very quickly. And so now it's one of our bigger, my studio is called the D. Buchanan Studio of Dance. And so it's the D. Buchanan Theater Experience. And so you can pick a junior show if you're worried about, being able to cast a full show. I don't recommend starting with a full show unless you're sure that you've got some ringers to pull it off. So maybe a junior show. The rights are not terribly expensive for those. You just have to make sure that you get the right people around you. I know that for me, music directing isn't a strong suit, so I just made sure I had someone for that. And then we handled it as a regular camp, and they were there for the week, and it was rehearsed. We did blocking, we did music rehearsal, we did choreo rehearsal. And then, by Wednesday morning, we ran act 1, no stops. And then, then we had a tech day, and then went into everything from there. And if you pick something that is fun for them and kind of familiar to them, they'll learn it quickly. The familiar shows for sure make them comfortable. That's a good place to start. I don't recommend starting with something like Sondheim or something, right? Just something that's straightforward. And then we started the program grew enough that we very quickly started renting a facility, a theater, to do the show. And then it kept growing. And then we were able to add more music classes. And so now we do full length shows. And that's great, Amy. Yeah, like 3 shows a year for them. We're up to 2 shows a year now because our kids just started to realize that there was this great energy about theater, about live theater, right? And so it's not that there's anything wrong with competition. I mean, we for sure put time into competition. We for sure put time into our dance recitals, but those are very specific places for them to use their talent, and theater gives them something else. And that piece of live theater, just watching them, if somebody misses an entrance or if somebody drops a prop or whatever, watching how they grow through all of that has been remarkable. And so I really recommend, if you're feeling like you have the space for something new, see what kind of energy that brings to it. Because worst case scenario, you do it and your kids don't dig it. And then you're like, well, we tried that camp.
I want to ask you, how long is a junior show?
Junior shows are about an hour long usually. They take out, like, for example, say Shrek or Aladdin or one of those shows, they take out some of the trickier pieces to sing. There aren't a lot of solo bits. The solos are a little bit shorter, and there's room for, I don't know, if it's Little Mermaid, you could have 100 fish in Under the Sea and that would be fine, but everybody's involved a lot.
And for those who might be watching today who've never approached even researching this, where could I begin if I was interested in seeing what shows would be open to me?
It's surprisingly easy I would recommend starting with MTI, Music Theater International. Very easy to set up a yes, exactly. MTI has a cost estimator. So you can go in, you can set up an account. It'll let you peruse things just to see if it's something that would be a good fit for you. And you can look at ones that don't require a large cast, which is nice to know going in, that you'd be able to. And also, if you're not going to be able to maybe pull a lot of guys for a show, it's easy to find the ones where almost every single part could be played by girls. We've done Aladdin Junior. We did Shrek Junior. Gosh, what other junior shows did we do? Aladdin, Shrek.
And what would
Little Mermaid Junior was our other one. Because all the sisters, right? Like those can all be girls. She's got a gazillion sisters, and so and even like the men on the ship can be girls on the ship. It doesn't matter if the prince has, if the sailors are women, it doesn't matter. So you really don't need yes. And it brings more boys. That is right, Amy. She's correct. It brings more boys. We have more guys now than we ever have.
Okay, Dee, I love this concept. I think it was Amy who wrote earlier that she does it 2 or 3 times a year. Am I right in understanding that it's for all kids? That's not just for the most
absolutely
advanced
absolutely
kids?
And these kids who maybe have always been that super tight kid who's like, 4 inches off the floor on their split while everybody else is doing all the things. They're like a soprano 1 and they're brilliant. They've got this great character actress bit that they do. And all of a sudden they're in the front of everything, for this particular niche. It's just very special for them. And some of these other kids are like, wow, I'm just happy to be on stage with her right now. Like she's making us look so good. Right. So,
yeah, and Renee writes something here that's important too, is to find a personality, because
yes.
the kids will take the lead from whoever's directing this program.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Really good point. And Amy added another comment. See, this is another way to generate income or bring new students through. Her shows are open to the general public.
Yeah, ours are too. That's because you open up your summer camps, and that's our DBTE experience is a summer camp. And so we have kids who actually don't dance during the season, but come back every summer to participate.
Very Cool. Ding. Pam.
Yes, I love the theater, the camp experience. I think ours grew doing summer little bits, doing it that way, and also doing like something that goes into winter because there's always like good little winter holiday-ish kind of shows that are good. But I agree with, I don't know who said it, but I agree with them about hiring the person that has the right personality. It's just like in dance, right? If you have that person that's kind of high energy, then the class has high energy. But if you put somebody in there that doesn't have a lot of energy, that program takes on that personality of the teacher. So that's in dance, theater, music, all that stuff really matters in that personality that we got to hire for sure. Okay, so I have another share for you. I was going to share, these two kind of things go a little bit together. So we have, I don't know if you guys use the National Honor Society of Dance Arts, but we have that class in our school. We've been doing that probably close to 10 years now, the National Honor Society for Dance Arts, but we also combine it with what we call Star Leadership. And that is a curriculum that you can purchase and use the curriculum of Star Leadership. And we do that class once a week. It's a 30-minute class. Well, this year the class is so big, we did it for 45 minutes, but the curriculum's built for 30-minute classes. And there's a junior level of the curriculum, ages 8 to 11. And then there's a teen that's 12 and up. And it takes you through all the 5 points of leadership and teaching the kids how to handle conflict and set goals and all the different things in there. So the Star Leadership program's really grown huge for us now. And then we couple it, like I said, with the National Dance Honor Society, where they have to have certain things where they view a show or attend a show and do community service projects. So we always do community service projects through that program. And like I said, it's really built up a lot. And that's also doesn't need to be your best dancers. It's anybody that really just enjoys being part of a program and leadership, building that community. And we really like that. And also in our community, we stand out because we don't just teach dance and music. We also teach leadership. So when we market our things, we teach dance, music, and leadership. And right now we want our students to be learning that leadership. They need to have those skills to get through what they're dealing with in life. So we've seen that program really grow. So we have about 100 kids that do the Star Leadership program now. Now it started smaller, but now it's big because the parents have seen that. And then we do the full induction ceremony in May where they get inducted into the Honor Society and make it a really special thing for the kids. But it's pretty low impact as far as like Dee was saying earlier, you don't need a lot of staff to do it. The National Honor Society or the Star Leadership, the curriculum's done for you and you just follow it. And it's really great. So we've seen that really help kids with college applications. When they get inducted into the National Honor Society for Dance Arts, that's something they add to their resume. And then it also helps them with interviews and different things like that because they've had to do some leadership things. We had somebody get a really large community service scholarship because they had done so many community service projects. And then once they're in the program for a while, we let them be leaders of a project. And so then they can put that also on their resume that not only did they participate in something, but they led the whole project and they were the project lead on whatever community service thing we did. So that's really helped set our studio aside and also really helped equip our kids.
I got a few follow-ups. First of all, I love it. I feel like leadership is something that parents desire for their kids. It's a part of dance, even if it wasn't in its own class. And that bringing people through our studio with programs like this is only going to feed our dance program. So here's my first question. So anybody can do this?
Anyone. Mm-hmm.
And how long a session? Is it every week?
We do it every week. Now, when we first started, we did the class once a month and we gave them homework to work on. And that works if you want to just get it started and you don't really have like the time in your schedule. But once ours grew, we do it every week now. It's for the whole session of the year. She does have a program that's a 10-week session that you can do and just do the 10 lessons. And we kicked it off. So if you want to try it and kick it off, we kick it off in the summer every year with just one of our favorite lessons that we let the kids come do a short-term, summer camp of Star Leadership. And it's we always pick one of our favorite lessons and gives the kids that little piece of leadership. And then usually they flood right into the class. But if not, they at least got that one basic lesson.
Very cool. For those viewers that may not know about the National Honor Society for Dance, it's through NDEO. Am I correct?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
So that's the National Dance Educators Organization, is I think what the acronym NDEO stands for. But we recently did an interview with them on their program. And I thought it was a really cool opportunity for us, once again, to bring something in where kids can shine and excel beyond just their strong technique, is the best way to say it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So as we're kind of winding down here, you both have jumped on and shared ideas. We have people who are watching that have ideas too, but sometimes there's a fear to bring something fresh and new forward. Like, what if it doesn't work? Can you address that? Like, I'm going to first, and I'll ask this question. I'm sure you both done things that didn't work, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now encourage me. I'm one of those people who's afraid. Encourage me, Pam.
Okay. Well, I think we've all had situations where we've thought this thing is going to be the thing. And then you do it and it is not the thing at all. And you're in the middle of it going, oh no, I just thought this was the thing and it's not. And so I think that's what helps you build the thing that does work, is when it doesn't work and you're like, okay, well, did we not market soon enough? Was it not the right age bracket? Was it too expensive? So you have to kind of stop and go, okay, why didn't it work? And then build the thing you want to have work. You know what I mean? So I think if you're afraid to try something, try it small. Like I said, with the Star Leadership, just try one lesson and see if it works. Or with the rotating classes that Dee talked about, take that idea and do it in a short-term mini-mester that you can do. Like, we're going to do this 4 weeks and you're going to rotate through and see how they like it. Or any of those programs, just start small, one idea. And if it doesn't work, you're not out that much money. I wouldn't just like jump into a large theater program without like trying a little camp first, or,
right.
Like we added the tumbling add-on or the tiny tappers to our program 15 minutes before and said to the teacher, well, there might be people that show up and we'll give it a good ramp and they might come and they might not. But it was just, we tried it with one class first and now we have 6. Mm-hmm. But it's just starting it. And if it didn't work, then you just delete it.
So there's nothing to lose.
No.
Yes, so that's the point for everybody who's watching. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, I think just exactly what Pam said. Just fully commit to doing it that one time. So don't be careful to not just say you're trying it. You don't see the enrollment. So you're like, okay, so I guess we're just not. Get it back out on social media, do some sort of special, like for everybody who signs in today, we're putting your name in the raffle. Somebody's going to get that camp for free, and do commit to see if you're nervous and you stay back here, it probably isn't going to work. So give it its full chance to see what happens. And our hip hop crew would be an example of a thing that didn't end up having legs. But we did run it for a season moderately successfully. And so we did try it again and it didn't grow from there. So we did something a little bit different. That's a little bit smaller commitment. And so that just wasn't a thing, but we did have to give it our best shot first to make sure that everybody knew about it and they knew what the opportunities were, and then make the good decision.
I actually believe that our options for the future are endless. Okay, I know that we were always striving to come up with a different kind of movement class. We now know the space that we have, the non-dance that would be a great complement to dance, the non-dance that would bring people flowing through the studio so that they can see dance, because they never would have come into the studio had they not come through the leadership program. I really feel like if we spend the time creating something new and exciting, something that excites us to make happen, I said it already, the possibilities are endless.
Mhm.
And you could find yourself laughing because this thing that you didn't think was such a great idea all of a sudden turns into your biggest income generating, and people love it.
Yeah.
That's what entrepreneurship is all about.
You just have to like not just dip your toe. Sometimes you actually have to jump in the pool and just commit to it, but not dip your toe. And sometimes it's scary, but then it will reap the benefits, like Ree said, if you try something new.
Possibilities are endless. Let's
Yeah.
end it with that. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Your kindness in sharing ideas with other dance studios and teachers means a lot. I think it's something that we all should do all the time in our field. I know easier said than done, but it's the philosophy behind everything I do. I believe that Dee could do something because of her personality that works, and Pam could try the same thing and it won't, and vice versa. It's the personality that you bring to the table that will determine your success. And that personality is unique. So offer things that are unique, that reflect what you're the best at. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you,
Bye.
Pam.
Thank
Dee.
you.
Bye.